Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Sean with BlueRidgeSilverhound, and today we're going to do something a little bit different, one in which I haven't done before, but you're going to see a new series kind of evolve before your very eyes on my channel. And we are going to focus on collecting in this modern age, and more specifically for the either the new coin collectors coming into the hobby, or young numismatists, okay, kids getting into the hobby. We're going to focus today on collecting, probably bar none, one of the most affordable series of coins that you will come across today, and that's going to be dime collecting. Okay, so we're going to focus on a couple of different series, okay, and then depending on your comfortability, will determine, which one you want to lean towards. So the real question is, why did I pick dimes? Okay, more specifically like Roosevelt dimes, and we're also going to dabble a little bit into Mercury dimes. Well, I can tell you this, like I had mentioned before, it is the most affordable series to collect, with rich history and great design work. You can't really say the same thing about some of the more recent modern US coin series. For example, if I threw out Native American dollars or possibly the presidential dollar series, to name a few, what do you guys think about those particular series in general? Okay, they're not, they have a lot of history involved with it. You have a president on each one of those dollars. They're dated for that specific year of manufacture, among other things. I mean, they can be neat, but as far as being able to collect into the 40s and maybe even earlier, that is where you're going to find a lot of potential in something like this. And again, there's more history involved because you get to deep dive into coins that were made during, say, World War I, World War II, during those times in American history. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the completed Roosevelt Dime album. So there are going to be a few things I want to talk about. All right. With every series, generally there's going to be something called a key date, or generally just a coin that is either low mintage or in higher grades, just a little bit more expensive than some of the other coins surrounding it. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this. And what I want to do is kind of tilt my camera down just a smidge, so that way we could take kind of like the book view. And I will say this, the most affordable, probably one of the more funnest ways to get into collecting coins in general is to simply get an album. Albums are available for, like, depending on how cheap you want to go. You could get one of the trifold folders for about $3 to $4, but they can be as high as maybe $100 for a really nice type. All right. So what we have here is a completed 1946 to this particular album probably goes into the 90s, but as you can see, the focus of this particular set are going to be all high-graded coins, okay? So in terms of collectability and money factor, all right, you will pay the most amount of money for coins that are what they call mid-state, all right? So those are coins typically that you would see uncirculated. Never seen circulation before. Some would say, it's like fresh off the minting press, is another way of putting it. But this is a complete set of Roosevelt dimes, kind of like an A to Z compilation. And what I did extra on this coin as well is that a few of the Philadelphia dates I had put in proof coins, okay? Because for Roosevelt dimes, some of those more scarce, earlier dated proof coins are a little bit more affordable than some of the other denominations for the same year. So that's something to keep in mind. What I also did was I bought graded and certified coins. Okay, these are coins from some of the more established grading companies out there like PCGS, NGC. We got ICG in there as well. But you get the big picture. And then what I do is crack those out and put them into the album, so that way it continues on the theme with much nicer coins. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about some of the keys to the series, okay? Because if you're going to go in and say collect an entire mint state series of Roosevelt dimes, it's going to set you back, especially if you have to buy individual coins that are mint state. This set might set you back probably $400 to $500. Okay, so just a little forewarning, but you know what you can do also, which is just as fun, is going out and actually purchasing just scrap rolls of silver dimes. Okay, for every $5 face worth, which is 50 coins in a roll, you go to a coin dealer. Generally, they'll charge you about $60 to $65 for just a roll of 90% silver dimes. And then you would use those to kind of go in and fill it in. Start filling in the holes. But as far as key dates go, just on this one page alone is where you're going to find a lot of relatively scarce and tough dates in mint state. So any one of the San Francisco minted coins, like the 46S that you see on the top middle, 47S, 48S, 49S, are all pretty tough. And those coins on their own will command somewhere between $20 and $40 each. Again, depending on the level of luster and just overall nice strike. And then you get into the 50s, the 50S, the 51S, actually on my particular album needs an upgrade. That one is a relatively circulated example that exhibits very little, if any, luster. Okay, so it's that coin that you see right there. The 52 is a proof, and so is the 51. And then just going on down the line, you know, all the other dates are obtainable for between $2 to $5. Okay, and even some of the San Francisco minted coins during the mid 50s and into the 60s are very affordable in spite of the fact that they are silver. So we're gonna go ahead and change the page here. As you can see, we have some coins with really nice toning, which oftentimes the toning happens when they are stored in an album. But once you get to 1965, the composition changes from that 90% silver composition to a copper nickel clad. All right, so these coins, you shouldn't pay no more than about $1 a piece for really nice, brilliant, uncirculated examples. And so oftentimes these are coins that you could still pull out of circulation at a really nice grade. All right, so when we continue on, you know, of course, we got proof coins in the mix now. Those coins can be purchased for about 50 cents to $1 a piece. So that continues on the affordability factor of each one of those particular dates, even though the proof coins were generally available only in proof sets. All right, where the proof sets for this particular era of coins is somewhere in that $7 to $10 range. All right, so we continue on here with more 1980s. Again, every single coin on this page attainable for a relatively small amount of money. That's why I'm saying it's one of the most affordable series to get into. It is a lot of fun. All right, and by the way, the designer of the Roosevelt dime is John Sinnock. Forgot to mention that. Did a pretty good job considering that coins from this date forward all feature presidents on every denomination. So that was kind of like the ongoing theme. So you get to a certain point in the manufacture of the proof coins where there are actual silver proofs from 1992 and up that you need to know about. Those are 90% composition coins. They appear a little bit whiter than all the other coins around it, even the other copper nickel clad proof coins. So those will typically run you about $5 a piece if you bought them individually. And oftentimes, you know, a local coin dealer will have that, or you can buy it online. It's a really, really easy coin to obtain. Now, this particular 97S is a clad, so that one needs to be upgraded. There's a few upgrades in this book that I need to do because I purchased this album that was pretty much almost full, but there were a few coins, like there was doubles of a certain proof coin that were both clad, okay, and they weren't silver. So those need to be modified in this book. And this is a really nice album, by the way, from Littleton. Pretty nice presentation. You get here into the 90s, then it's just really common. Again, these are coins that you could find in circulation today. What I also wanted to also address is this coin right here. So there is a one-shot 1996 West Point Roosevelt dime that is only available in mint sets, but that's a coin that you could buy all on its own for about $3 to $5 straight. You know, it'll probably still be in the little mint blister pack when you buy it, which is cool. Otherwise, you know, it'll be a high grade. These things don't circulate any because it was only made available in mint sets. All right, so again, not super rare. The mintage is a little low on it, but it's very available out there in the current marketplace for a great price. So this one goes all the way up to 2013. So there's a few coins I need to fill in. But with this album, you get to a certain point, there's a lot of blanks, and then you just go ahead and fill in, you know, and continue on the series. And then you could also, with these type of albums, add in a second blank page to continue on till, you know, 2020, which if you're just now watching, that's what year we're in right now. All right, and then what's really cool is you have kind of like a little chart right here with all the various mintages of not only the circulation strikes, but also the proof coins as well. It adds in that pretty, you know, awesome neat factor when it comes to determining, oh yeah, you know, that 87S proof is a nice low mintage, you know, and they were intended to be low mintage because those catered to the collectible market. So they didn't make 1 billion of them, you know, for general circulation use. But it really is a cool piece of data right there. So here's another look at the reverse of some of these coins. You have that really neat torch with the olive sprig on the reverse. Pretty neat. So it's a nice classic design. The dime series doesn't exactly get its due in the collectible scene because it's one of the final coins that has yet to have a major redesign phase, unlike all the other denominations at one point have had some sort of reworking done, or, you know, just an overall design change. And the dimes are going to be probably one of the coins that sometime in the near future will gain some of the notoriety of a new redesign. So what I also like doing is adding in coins with color in there. Again, the tone coins really make a pretty big difference in the overall presentation of the album or the collection. So that's one way to, you know, go ahead and assemble a collection. Okay, so that particular album, if you went and bought it yourself, would be somewhere in that $25 range. Okay, maybe even a little bit less depending on where you buy it at. Now, let's go ahead and go take a look at option number 2. This is a what they call a folder. Okay, this one is actually a 5-fold. This one has 5 different kind of like pages to it. But this is one of my favorite albums. Okay, as far as brand, this one is by a company called Dansco company, and this is a dime folder, okay, from 1916. So this one covers 2 different design series. Okay, you got Adolph Weinman's Mercury Dimes series, which we will go through and kind of take a look and see what we have here. In addition, it will also have some more of the Roosevelt dimes that we love so much. So that's the Mercury design right there. And this is a really neat set to put together. Okay, the Mercury dime got its name because Adolph Weinman had produced this beautiful Liberty design. However, he put these little wings on the side of Liberty's cap, which gave the nickname Mercury, you know, as in the, was he a Greek god, I guess? So you have a very beautiful design that has translated well to a couple, I guess, designs. The Palladium Eagle has the Adolph Weinman Mercury design. They also redid the coin I believe in 2016. That is in gold. I've actually owned a few of those using the same obverse design and also using the reverse design. I've got some loose coins to show you. But this one right here is a set that goes from 1916. All right, at its earliest date, that's the first year of the Mercury Dime, all the way to whatever the current date is on your album. So this album is a little bit over 30 years old because the final date is 1989. All right, so if you come across these folders and then whatever the final date is in there is about the time of manufacture. All right, so this was probably either done in 88 or 89 or maybe even 87, and then they added in a few extra dates in there. But we also have a bunch of Roosevelt dimes. So this particular album is going in a completely different direction than the other one that you saw there a second ago with all of the gem Roosevelt dimes. So we're going to continue on the tradition of some of the nicer graded Roosevelt dimes. This one I'm kind of slow rolling. I've been working on this off and on as I come across these coins, whether it's through a coin show or a shop or, you know, buying it online and just kind of like, you know, teetotaling with the actual fill up of this album. But when we get to the actual earlier Mercury dimes, which you saw a little piece of it right here, all right, you'll notice that I've gone with a circulated look. So some of these coins, I all want to look kind of like this. All right, there are a few coins that exhibit a little bit darker patina, but these are all original coins. That one is kind of out of place. That's a really nice mint state 41S. But as you can see, there is a specific kind of like grade I'm looking for. The 44S more than likely will be swapped out because that doesn't fit the overall presentation of the book. So ultimately, what I'm doing with this, and maybe you guys can kind of customize your own assemblage of these type of albums, is to go for like one specific theme and work toward that. In this one, I'm doing the mild circulation, probably like a VF set for every single date of Mercury Dime, and just go ahead and filling it in. All right, so that is the look I'm going for, because in all honesty, this is a set right here that if you fill this one up in a VF, you're going to be talking about a set that you have probably dumped about $1,200 into, and here's why. So in this particular album, there is no 42/1 variety, which is one of the key dates of the series. However, once we get into the earlier kind of dates here, we have a 1916D, which is the key date of the entire series. But also keep in mind, 21 and 21D are also a couple more keys to the series. All right, but then again, don't overlook some of these teens dates, some of the 20s, especially the San Francisco mints. Those can be like $10 coins in this condition if you're not careful. Of course, shop around. But you know, the 31s are a little bit more key. They're a lower mintage than, you know, what meets the eye. But a lot of the coins can be had in this condition for right around scrap. Okay, so I picked up some other dimes that we're going to take a look at that I wanted to show you guys. And, you know, we're going to try and fill in a few of these holes right here, because I'm pretty sure I got a few of them that will certainly work. And you guys can see how to, you know, how it all kind of works. Now, generally, I'll be wearing gloves. So if I find some coins that would fit in here, I don't have a pair of gloves with me right now. I use nitrile gloves when I'm handling the coins to put in these albums, because the folders have cutouts, and sometimes these cutout holes are a little bit too tight and snug. So you got to put some elbow grease in there. But here is a roll of just 90% dimes that I picked up for $60 with today's silver prices, which is like just over $15 an ounce. So it's pretty affordable. And keep in mind, whatever you have left that you haven't put into the album, you could just put it toward your stack, or you could go ahead and resell it and still come out a wash, okay, off of those particular coins. So we'll go ahead and take out a few coins here and just kind of see what we're looking at to give you an idea of how easy this all is. So we're gonna go ahead and start out with the first coin here. Always holding by the edge. So we have a nice 1925 here. Don't know if there's a mint mark, but you can see this one might fit the criteria of the album. And the reverse has no mint mark. Generally, let me see if I can find a pointer for you guys. The mint mark will be sitting here on the reverse, right in this little empty spot underneath the olive branch. Okay, so it's gonna be to the right of 1 and just to the left of the base of the what they call fascies, or these this roll of sticks right here with the axe head. So it would be in this spot. More than likely, I will come across another coin with a mint mark so you guys can take a look at it. But we have a slot for a 1925. So what I'll do is I'll put the coin right next to it till I get a set of gloves. Because once you put some pressure into the coin for the hole, you are going to get any contaminants that are on your fingers, like oil, grease, and it's going to translate into an unsightly fingerprint. Okay, and that's what you don't want. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next coin right here. And we have a 1939. So let's see if there is a mint mark on this one. And sure enough, there is. So we have Denver and San Francisco minted coins for the Mercury Dimes series. This one has a small letter D. This one is a 1939D. So it's a Denver minted coin. So as what I could tell here, I have an empty slot for this particular coin. And I'm going to set it aside right at that hole. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next one here. But you can just see coins that are a little bit lower grade, but have that nice original kind of like grime and patina to it, you know, really has a lot of history to it. These coins have endured a few world wars. They've endured a Great Depression. They've endured anything within the last 100 years. Okay, so we have a 1919 right here, which looks like it's in pretty good shape, but this one is probably more along the line of a VG coin because you have a lot of the feather detail right here that's missing. And it is a Philadelphia. I don't have this coin, but I'll put it right next to the hole. And we'll take a look at a few more coins before we move on to the next topic. So there's another 39. This one is a San Francisco. You can see the small letter S right there. All right, so this one I'm pretty sure I don't have, and sure enough, I don't. Always consider the San Franciscos to be a little bit more desirable because the mintages are just a hair smaller. So here's a 28. This one looks to be in pretty good shape. That's probably a nice fine 15 or so. And this one has an S, but also keep in mind, this one is a large S. For 1928, there is a few mint mark varieties as far as shape. The large S is the more desirable out of the two. And this one has a home. So we're going to go ahead and put that right here. It's actually right next to my small stack. There we go. And you can be pretty gentle with these coins, even though they've endured a lot of circulation wear. Here's a 37 S. So far, I'm kind of pleased. This lot of Mercury Dimes has provided a few nice quality branch mint coins. Here's a nice 1916. The toning's a little bit funny. It's a nice shape, though. This is a nice solid VF right here. No mint mark, so it's a Philadelphia minted coin. So I do need a 16. We'll put that right there next to the hole. And we have a nice well-worn one right here. Here's another 16. And, ooh, it's an S. That's a tough one. So this one I do have a spot for. We'll go ahead and put that one in there. But more than likely, that's going to be a future upgrade. That coin is just way too low grade for my taste. And then right here, we have a 24 with a little bit of grime right there, a little grease. That could... 24D is what we have here for this one. So this one I think I do have a spot for. So you guys kind of get the idea. You're searching through the coins and then finding a space for them. Okay, and then eventually you'll fill the whole album. And what we'll do from this point forward to kind of continue the interest to be strong within these albums, even though you filled up all the dates, is to do what they call upgrades. So like I had mentioned, if we move this aside, This 44S is way too dark. It might even be a little bit environmental damage or corroded. So what we want to do is when we come across a coin that is a better look for this album, we're going to go ahead and swap it out. And that's what they call an upgrade. Okay, it's just like anything, upgrading a car, and you get the big picture. So that kind of completes this aspect of it, of filling in the albums. If you're brand new, that's how it works. Let's go ahead and deep dive into something that is a little bit more elaborate. And that's go ahead and, kind of customizing your collection by other means. So you could do varieties, die varieties. This is a 1960 proof doubled die reverse Roosevelt dime. Okay, so you could collect a whole grip of it, because there's a lot of varieties for not only the Mercurys, but also the Roosevelt dimes. So you could go ahead and enhance your collection by buying some of these. And by the way, these are all slabbed and authenticated pieces, but you can crack these out pretty easily. This one is graded by Annex. All right, you can even do proof coins of some of the earlier dates. What we have here is a 1942 Mercury dime that grades out in this secondary kind of PCI holder. It's one of the older holders. Proof 64. Okay, that's about $150, $200 coin right there. You could go ahead and integrate some more rare coins. So for the 42 proof, only 22,329 pieces of this coin were made, but they're available for a reasonable cost. Okay, you don't have to get something that's way too crazy in there. So here's another variety. This is a 42/1 that grades out XF40 through PCGS. In this particular instance, you could actually see the extra one that's sitting right there. So this is a really neat overdate and one of the most popular varieties in the Mercury Dime series. All right, so that's a nice XF40. You have lots of feather detail right here in the cap, okay? Plus you also have distinctive lines kind of separating the face of Liberty with the cap. It's kind of neat. And on the reverse, it looks pretty good. It's not completely worn away. This is about kind of like the grade I like for a coin of this caliber. So you could do something like that. There are going to be albums like this where the 42/1 Philadelphia is going to be in here as well as the other 42/1 for the Denver Mint. Okay, so you got two pretty big high-priced stoppers in there. Or you could go by high grade. Let's go ahead and go all out and just do a complete Mint State 65 full split bands, Mercury Dime collection. You could do that. That's strike designation, by the way. So how strong the strike is on the reverse, where you have fully split bands on the top, middle, and bottom set of bands, you'll get this designation here. That makes the coin more valuable, sometimes by 10 to 100 times actual value for the same numerical grade, like the 66. This is a really pleasing, acceptable market type piece right here. You could do an entire, collection of nothing but full split bands coins. That is extremely challenging. But, for the people that out there that have the deep pockets that want to kind of put together a collection that is going to pay off dividends in the long run, this is probably the king of kings right here. All right, and then one more way to enhance your collection is to come up with a collection that has a bunch of color on it. All right, so this is a 55S Roosevelt dime. It's a Mint State 66, but this is a double-sided toner, okay? Usually the acidity of the older paper rolls or the albums create a lot of this. As you can see, a lot of the more richer toning is on the edge. Okay, so this coin is very much indicative of a coin that was housed in an album at one point. Okay, those older albums don't have the archival safe materials that it does today. All right, so you're able to take a coin out 5 years later that you had assembled in this album, that's from like the 1960s, and then find a coin that looks quite like this. Now, keep in mind, you're going to pay huge premiums for not only tone coins, but also the varieties and then the low mintage proofs. Okay, all across the board, you could really customize your collecting in a huge way. I mean, you could go from like, I want to dedicate $200-300 to putting together a really solid Roosevelt dime collection, or you could be that person who're like, you know what, this is going to be a $500,000 collection of Mercury dimes. I've seen it before. And again, there's no wrong way of putting together a set of dimes, okay? Or any other series for that matter. You could do low ball, you could do damage or hold coins. I've seen it all. It's a fun project. And guess what? You're getting a lot of fulfillment out of it because, it's a challenging thing. The search is a challenge each and every step of the way, and that's what makes this a fun and very fruitful hobby. So anyways, I want to go ahead and end it there. Hopefully you guys got a little bit of everything that you needed information-wise at tackling some modern dated dimes. Okay, US dimes, again, it's even though we have the more popular kind of one of the designs out there, the Mercuries, dimes in general are just an underrated collecting direction compared to, say, pennies or quarters or half dollars. There is a lot to get into right here, but it is a lot of fun, and you're going to find that as you go through collecting, assembling a really nice presentation, that you're going to be happy with it at the end. So I challenge you guys to find a collecting direction, whether it's through dimes or any other type of coin, and really go for it. Hopefully you guys enjoy the hobby as much as I have. I'm your host, Sean, with BlueRidgeSilverhound. As always, guys, like, share, subscribe to this video. If you haven't subscribed yet, all the support goes a long way. And Coinaholics, we are discovering together. So you guys take care. Have fun with the hobby. Would love to hear what you have to say. Peace, guys. Take care.